Hello everybody and welcome back to Crafted by Corie. If you are new, I'm Corie. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. And if you are returning, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate each and every one of you. Today I am doing a fun spring into spring collaboration with my friends Ashley with Crafts with Ash DIY and Decor and Kathy from Krafty Kathy. We are springing into spring. Super excited about these projects. So let's go ahead and get right on into it. DIY number one. I have some skewers from the Dollar Tree and this Dollar Tree mirror. I'm going to go ahead and pop out the back and set the mirror aside, and that'll just make it easier for me to work with this. And I had measured the mirror. It was just shy of 8 inches. And so I'm going to be cutting down my large skewers in increments of 8 inches, 7 inches, 6 inches, and 5 inches. And so I'm just going to keep on cutting these. I'm using my little dog toenail clippers. Someone had shared that little tip with me a while back, and I find that they are correct. It works really well. But I am just going to go ahead and trim all of these down. And once I have a good number of them, and you can see here, once I had the first set measured, I just went ahead and used the ones that were already cut to measure the rest. And then I'm going to start laying them out all around my mirror. We're making a starburst here. And I found that as I was doing this, I realized I really needed a way to space these little skewer pieces out so that they were at the proper angles. I went ahead and grabbed these little sticky gems out of my stash, and I started applying them with a little bit of a space in between. I was using one of the skewers as a spacer so that I could get the right distance between each of these little gems. And so I just kind of played with that until I got it where I wanted it. And then I kept putting them all the way around the entire edge of the mirror. So once I had that done, I was able to go ahead and kind of place these into the little grooves and make sure that they were all going to be lined up the way I wanted. So you can see here, I'm going to go ahead and move them all away, get my parchment paper underneath the mirror itself. And then I'm going to start using hot glue to attach them to the mirror. And I'm making sure that they're all perpendicular to the mirror at each place where they are being adhered. Hopefully that makes sense. I had a little bit of extra hot glue there when I put that down, so I was just scooping that up and using that on those first couple of skewers. And then I was just a little bit more careful with the amount of glue I was putting down. Now, the reason I use the parchment paper under it is that the hot glue will not stick to it. So it just gives me an opportunity to be able to work right on the surface with the hot glue and not have to worry about being able to lift my project up off of that surface when I am done. So I continued to work my way all the way around bit by bit. And you can see I was just trying to be careful to have everything going straight out, and again just worked my way all the way around. And then I was going to be ready to spray paint it with my metallic gold Rust-Oleum, but I decided first I wanted to put a cord around the top outer edge of the mirror. And I'm doing this because I felt like there was a little bit of glue that was going to be visible once I spray painted it. So I just wanted to hide those little globs, if you will. So I went ahead and got my cord glued down, got the little ends stuck together, spray painted out in the garage, and I am so happy with this. I cleaned up my little mirror with some rubbing alcohol, and then all I had to do was pop it right back in, and my little project here was complete. I hope you like this as much as I do. I am absolutely in love with it, but I'm going to show it to you here. Let me know what you think. So, as I mentioned earlier, this is a collaboration with my friend Ashley from Crafts with Ash DIY and Decor and Kathy from Krafty Kathy. They have so many fun, inspiring projects. I hope you'll check out their channels. Let them know I sent you. Links are in the description box. DIY number 2. So for this DIY, I've got these giant eggs I'd gotten in a Michael's grab box, and then I have some Dollar Tree supplies. At least I think these two are from the Dollar Tree. I'm not certain. My sweet subscriber Rose sent these to plastic. I think they're candlestick holders to me, but I'm using them as I'm creating like a little riser. And then this is definitely a candlestick holder from the Dollar Tree that I had picked up, using my little gems again to apply to the Dollar Tree. This is a ceramic one because I wanted it to look like it goes with the plastic ones that have kind of this little beaded edge on them. Hopefully that makes sense. You can see it there. So what I'm going to do next is give everything a good coat of my Adirondack white chalk paint, make sure everything is nice and covered, and I am looking to have kind of a set that looks cohesive here with my risers. I did have to give that 2 coats, and then this one, I think I also gave this one 2 coats as well. Just making sure that I've got good coverage, making sure all my little blue beads are covered up, although it might have been fun to leave those blue. You'll see why in a little while. But I then took the top half of my purple egg and I coated that with the white chalk paint. That also took a couple of coats. And then I also painted the entire blue egg with the Adirondack white chalk paint. And this also took a couple of good coats. So just had that set down there. And then this is my vintage Victorian. So it's a light pink. This is also a chalk paint, and I did the other half of that purple egg with the pink, and you can see I was giving that a second coat. So now with the full white egg, I am going to be decoupaging. So I am using my wet paintbrush trick to help me tear out all these little butterflies. This tissue paper is from the Dollar Tree. I had picked it up a while back. It's been in my stash, and I've been really looking forward to having a project to use it with, and this I thought would be perfect. So I'm just basically using water to wet my paintbrush, and I'm tracing a line around the area where I want to rip out the image on the tissue paper, and that allows me to tear it with control. So once I had all of my little butterflies torn out, I went ahead and started using my gloss Mod Podge to put a good coat on the egg, and then I went ahead and started applying my little pieces and putting them down with some additional Mod Podge. And I just continued to do that all around the egg. And this, of course, is going to dry completely clear. So I'm just piecing them together in a way that's pleasing to my eye. And I just continue to do that all the way around the egg. I did let the top half dry. Well, it was more than the half, but I went down as far as I could, let it dry, and then I was able to flip it over and do the bottom of the egg. So then with the other egg, once the sides were dry, I went ahead and put them together. So I've got the bottom part is pink, the top part is white. I was measuring the girth, which was 22 inches. So now I'm just measuring off every 2 inches. I'm just putting a little bit of a mark so I can create my design here. Ooh, excuse me, it's late at night. I'm trying not to yawn. But this makes me think of Argyle. I don't know if that's what I'm doing here, if this is an Argyle pattern, but essentially making a diamond pattern all the way around. And then I will go ahead and I'll continue that diamond pattern down all the way down to the base of the egg. So I'm just going to keep going with this. and eventually the diamonds will start getting a little bit more narrow as I make my way down with the tapering of the egg. Once I had that all done, I just went ahead and filled in the egg with a blue marker that I had in my stash. At first I was using a glitter marker from the Dollar Tree, and I loved that color. It was perfect compared to the butterflies on the other egg, but I was concerned that it wasn't going to hold up for the entire project because the chalk paint tends to be a little bit drying. And so I had this other marker in my stash. I've had this for years. I don't know where it came from. A friend of mine had given it to me quite some time ago, and I don't know where she got it from, but it was perfect and exactly what I needed. So I went ahead and I just colored in every diamond across the top, and then I guess every other one going down, every other row, I suppose is the way that you would say it, but you can see exactly here what I was doing. And then I went ahead and filled in the base as well, just so it was all nice and cohesive. I think this is so fun. So once I had that done, I'm taking another glitter marker. This one is purple, and I thought that it might work out well, and then I determined that the color just wasn't what I had in mind for it. It was a little bit too, I don't want to say too purple, just the purple wasn't the right shade for the blue and the pink that I had going on with the egg. So I figured for consistency, I would just go ahead and finish off my lines. And then I was thinking I was going to go ahead and grab my chalk paint. This is my lilac chalk paint by Home Decor. And I'm just coming in and I am going over the line there. Now, originally I thought I would just have it remain a straight line all the way up, but I didn't like the way that it was going on. It was wider than I had envisioned, and I wasn't getting all of the edges completely straight. I had not wanted to tape it because I was afraid that the tape would pull the chalk paint up off of my egg. So eventually I was like, you know what? I'm going to make it a squiggly line, and I'm going to see if I like that better. And so that was what I ended up doing with all of them. And so it was a non-straight line with purpose. And now this is the next day, and I had sunlight coming in through my basement window, so I apologize for the spotlight effect that we have going on here. It couldn't be helped. But I'm coming in with my sunny porch chalk paint. I believe this is also Home Decor, not Waverly. I believe it's Home Decor. And I'm just making little teeny flowers by doing 4 little dots with my paint. And I'm just loading up that brush sufficiently and making the little flowers. And then coming in at each of these points with the blue diamonds, I am placing a little yellow circle. So a little yellow dot at each intersecting point as well, to give this a little bit more interest. I don't know what that's called. If there's a name for that, let me know what it is. But I think this is so fun, and it's got its own little pedestal. So here is the other egg all done with its little pedestal. Let me know what you think. DIY number 3. All right, I have a bunch of these little drawer box things from the Dollar Tree, as well as a whole bunch of letter stickers. I was going ahead and prepping these. I've got my vintage Victorian, my pumpkin, my sunny porch, my celery, pool, and lilac. So hopefully you notice this is kind of like a little bit of a rainbow, and I'm painting each box. Now my pumpkin, I felt like it was a little bit too dark. It was too fallish. I really wanted something that was lighter and more spring-like. My jar was almost empty, so I went ahead and added some white paint to it. I do have an extra jar of pumpkin anyway, so I figured, you know what? I'm gonna make this one more of a peach color. I did add a little bit of water because my paint is getting a little bit on the dry side. It was getting a little clumpy. and added some more white until I got it to the shade that I wanted. That's the great thing about paint. You can mix all kinds of colors. And so I went ahead and continued to paint each of my boxes a different color, and keeping in mind the order that I wanted the boxes in, because some of these boxes are smaller and some of them are larger just because of the way that they are made to nest. So I wanted to make sure that I was all set there. So now I've got my letter stickers, and you'll notice I've already used a bunch of these. I am looking for the ones that are already used, and I'm cutting these out because I'm going to use these as stencils. Okay, so once I had them all cut out, I peeled away the sticker from the backing, and then I went ahead and applied it to my box where I wanted that letter placed. And then once I had all of those done, I have my little makeup sponge. I have a teeny piece of it, and I am doing a very dry um, stencil padding, if you will. I was going in very light with the paint because I didn't want to have bleeding. I did not seal these first. And with these particular sticker sheets, if you will, they are paper. So I have learned from experience that you do not want to saturate these with paint, because when you do, the paper starts to pull away from the adhesive and it's very difficult to get them off. So highly recommend, if you use this method, to use a dry tapping method so that you're putting down, depositing just a very little bit of paint so it's practically dry as you're doing it, and then just go in with multiple coats of the dry paint technique until it's the color or the depth or the shade that you want it. And here they are. I think they look so crisp and neat. I am so happy. And I've got a bunch of my Dollar Tree picks, and I've got my remnants of my floral foam, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut that down to fit inside my little boxes. I just cut a whole bunch of it so that I could get it in there properly, and then I'm using hot glue to adhere it to the bottom. These are actually picks from Amazon. I do have this in my Amazon store and have a link in my description box for that. So if you have interest in the boxwood that I'm using here, I went ahead and I cut it all down, and then I started cutting down my Dollar Tree picks as well. And I wasn't sure yet if I wanted to make every box the same with the arrangements, or if I was going to alternate and do different things. So here I am just cutting the little pieces of grass and tucking those in the middle. So I have the boxwood around the edges and then the grass in the middle. And here I am, I'm just doing the larger boxes first. I had alternated them with the smaller ones. And I was trying to decide, again, whether I was going to be consistent across the board or if I was going to vary, every other box, what I was going to do. I had 4 different colors of those egg picks, and each of them had 3 eggs. So I knew I had a total of 12 of the eggs. So if I was going to be consistent, each box was going to be able to get 2. So I was trying to just decide. And I'm visual, right? So I have to start doing it to see. And as I went, I decided, you know what, I am going to go ahead and make these all consistent. Obviously, I did the grass first on those second 3, and then I did go ahead and add in the boxwood here as well. So once I had all of the boxwood in there and all of the grass in there, I went ahead and started adding in my little eggs. I think these are so cute. I love them. They've got a little bit of a shimmer to them, and you can see all of the little, I don't even know what you would call that. They've got these little things that stick up off of the egg. They're like textured, and you can see them glimmering a little bit in the light there. But I went ahead and very strategically, randomly placed the colors in. I just wanted to make sure that the colors were opposite of the box that they were in, and that I didn't have the same color, right next to it. I'm a little crazy with that. But then I went ahead and cut down these little berry picks that I'd also gotten at the Dollar Tree. I have them in orange, and then I have them in this deep marine blue shade. And I went ahead and I tucked them in down around the edge of the box. And this also helped to camouflage the floral foam that's in there. And then I've got the blue, so I just alternated orange and blue every other letter. And that was essentially how I created this arrangement. I think they are so cute. Let me know what you think. And now it's time for a shout out timeout. Beautiful Teresa. I love these. I think they are so pretty. And cute Sarah, the little kisses booth, and the bumblebee, and nice Elizabeth, all of these wonderful conversation hearts that she created, and beautiful Patricia. These are all coloring amazing. I would love to give you a shout out as well. If you have interest, please send me an email at craftedbycorie@gmail.com. DIY number 4. All right, this is another sign I got in a Michael's grab box. And then I also have some butterflies from the Dollar Tree and my vintage Victorian, my lilac, my sunny porch, and my pool paint, as well as that was a scrap piece of foam core board. But I am going to paint my butterflies with the vintage Victorian, the lilac, and the pool. I do not need to worry about getting the backs of these because we are going to be adhering these butterflies, and they'll actually stick better if they don't have paint on the back of them. So I'm just doing the front and making sure that everything has 2 good coats so that they are nice and solid with the colors. And now I'm going to take this sign. Now there's a metal sign in there. I've decided while I could take it out, it wasn't going to be necessary. I decided I'm just going to cover it up instead. So my foam core board had a banged up little edge on it, so I went ahead and cut that off. Now I've tucked it in there to mark where the inner edge is. And now I'm cutting it down. So this is how I measured it. I didn't use a measuring tape. I actually was using the board itself to nick it with my little X-Acto knife to determine where exactly it needed to be cut. And then I'm using my self-healing cutting mat to make sure that I am getting the straight edges with my little metal ruler there. So once I had that all cut down, I made sure that it was going to pop in there. I wanted to be careful not to tuck it in yet because I wasn't going to be able to get it out if I did. So then I went ahead and I painted it with my sunny porch. As soon as I started putting this paint down, I thought, you know what, this is a little too dark. I went ahead and finished painting that color all the way because I wanted it to be consistent, but then I mixed up some white with the yellow just to get a lighter color. I was looking for just a light lemony color shade. So I mixed up that paint, and then I went ahead and I gave it another coat so that I had that lighter color. And you can see it's significantly lighter now with just that pale yellow. I did paint the back as well because it was curling up on me, and one of my awesome subscribers told me that if you paint the other side, it'll get it to lay flat. So that's what I did. And now this is my Gorilla wood glue that I am using in here to help adhere it to the inside of the frame. And I just ran a bead right along the edge of the wood, and I used some hot glue for that immediate hold. I went ahead and set that in there, and then I did weight it down with some vases just until that was dry. So now I have my butterflies. I'm going to get them all lined up. And as I was looking at this, I thought, you know what? I think the frame needs a little something more. So I went ahead and took the butterflies out. I took my parchment paper. It has a natural crease in it, so I just made sure that it was all laying flat. And then I took a chip brush, and I'm just using a dry brush method all over the frame, and that parchment paper is obviously just protecting my yellow paint on the front. So I didn't want to bother with the taping, and this worked just fine for the purpose that I needed, because I'm not going crazy with the paint, and so this was just perfect. So once I had that all done, I got all of the sides and the edges, and I had it the way I wanted it. I was able to go ahead and take off the parchment paper, set up my butterflies, and I'm just using some generous amounts of hot glue on the back of those to get them laid out and adhered to my sign. And I just think that this is so sweet. It would look beautiful in a little girl's room, but it screams spring to me. And I hope that you like it as much as I enjoyed creating it. Leave me a comment and let me know what you think of this one as well. Okay, everybody, that's it for today. I hope that you enjoyed the projects as much as I enjoyed creating them. Please remember to give me a big thumbs up, leave me a comment, let me know which one you liked the most. It really does help my channel to get recognized by YouTube, and it helps me to grow. If you haven't already subscribed, I hope you'll consider doing that, and be sure to hit that bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video. And remember, please go check out the videos that Ashley at Crafts with Ash DIY and Decor has done, and Kathy from Krafty Kathy has done too. I'm getting all tongue twisted. I am going to be leaving links in my description box for their videos as well, so please go check them out, give them some love, and let them know I sent you their way. Until the next time, be well, be kind, and make it a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Take good care. Bye.